Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, May the 14th, and you're at the City of Opa-locka CRA meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Board Member Bass.
Here.
Board Member Kelly.
Present.
Board Member Taylor.
Present.
Vice Chair Williams. Present. And Chair Russell.
Presence. We're gonna ask Board Member Kelly if you would give us an invitation, then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you, God, for all of your many blessings. Continue to look over the city. Continue, God, give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Do those things which are pleasing in your sight. We thank you and we give your name praise. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're glad to see everyone here today. As we begin our meeting, we want to say that Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, belated Mother's Day. Hope everyone had safe and happy time celebrating a day that's very important in the world for all the mothers, because without mothers, it won't be no us. So we take our hats off to all the mothers. And we would like to also acknowledge in the city of Opa-locka, we lost a longtime resident, Miss God, it just slipped my mind. Miss Mosley. Her kids have been involved in Opa-locka Parks, and they also were a part of Teen Upward Bound for many years. So we remember her today, and also one of our longtime employees at the city of Opa-locka, Mr. McPhee. We want to remember him and remember his family in our prayers as well. Oh, and I was just informed that today is the city of Opa-locka's really birthday. Happy birthday, Opa-locka. All right. Nobody brought cake. Nobody brought cake and ice cream, all right. And also the month of May is also Lupus Awareness Month. And as most people that know me know that I have a daughter that has championed lupus, and she's a warrior for over 20 years. The doctors say she wouldn't make it past 5, and she's gone to almost 25 years. So we salute her and all those that are warriors for lupus, and telling the cause everywhere they go about what lupus does, and especially to the African-American community. Something, I think it was Teacher Appreciation Month also, and Haitian American Month, and nurses. I think it was the Nurses Month as well. So all of these lovely things going on in the month of May, and very hot. So stay hydrated. Are there any add-on items, Mr. Director?
Madam Chair, I would like to withdraw on discussion item Chinese restaurant. I would like to withdraw, and this is just for a matter of time so that we're not here all night. I would like to also withdraw the update on the tree grant. I would also like to withdraw the city discussion regarding the city of Opa-locka Parks. And in lieu of taking those 3 items off, I would like to add one item on the discussion, which I'll be very quick, which is the Rose Titus Prayer Butterfly Garden.
Okay. So we're removing the Parks Development item. We're removing the tree grant update and the discussion on the Chinese restaurant, and we're adding to it the Rose Garden prayer garden.
Correct.
Madam Clerk, I need, attorney, I need to a motion to add those to change the agenda.
To accept, yes.
Okay, can I get a motion to, change the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I will move to make the changes that the director mentioned and wants to take off and adding the additional. I'll move that motion on the agenda.
It's been moved by Board Member Kelly, second by Board Member Bass. Roll call, please.
Board Member Kelly,
Yes.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Board Member Williams. Oh, Board Member Bass. Here. Yes. Chair Russell,
Yes. Okay, we would like to move to the approval of minutes from the meeting on March the 12th. Moved by
Second.
Board Member Kelly, second by Board Member Vice Chair Williams. Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Board Member Kelly,
Yes.
Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Chairwoman Russell.
Yes. Motion passes. We're gonna open the floor up now for public comments. Public comments are now open. Anyone would like to come up? Hearing none, seeing none, public comments is now closed. Mr. Attorney, you can move to resolution number 1.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Agenda item number 1 under section 8 of your agenda. First item that we have is a resolution for the Opa-locka Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing the implementation of the Green Space Beautification and Community Wellness Program, also known as the Thriving Together Program, providing for the allocation of funds and providing for an effective date for your consideration.
Move it.
Moved by Board Member Taylor,
Second.
second by Vice Chair Williams. Mr. Director, please.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. This program that we're introducing would be a community garden, planting trees in people's homes, fruit trees, vegetables. It's part of our objective and objective 5 of the Opa-locka redevelopment plan. We have Brian here who is more prepared to speak about this than I am, and Vice Chair Williams, and he can go over the plan with you. Brian, you want to introduce yourself? Put your name on the record.
Okay, your name for the record, please, and how long do you think the presentation would take?
5 minutes.
Okay,
My name is Brian Noyes. My name is Brian Noyes. I'm the founder of Green Space Initiatives and I'm responsible for the Green Space program in front of you.
Your address for the record, please, if you could
801 Northwest 67th Avenue,
speak directly into the mic as well.
Plantation, Florida, 33317. Mainly here to answer questions and go over an overview, just give you a general idea of what we're looking at. I wanted to stress a few points, one of which is this is designed to be a community-owned project by the end of this. Start out with some more contractors and everything, but phasing through into more and more community involvement until it's ending to be sustainable in perpetuity with community members running it, benefiting from it, profiting from it. And also on the implementation phases, I'm a student of the design theory philosophy. We're not looking at this is a set in stone end product. Come out with a series of prototypes, a series of cheaper investments and pilot projects, put them out there, see how the community interacts with these projects, get their active feedback, get what they actually desire, implement those changes, put it back out. Through this process, we learn more about the community, what the community desires. The community gets more education on what can be done. And on what is going to be done, the first is the beautification initiative, many native butterfly gardens throughout the city. And this is anywhere from 10 to 20 plants and 300 to 500 different gardens, just tiny little gardens wherever there's grassy, weedy, rundown, sandy little areas. Instead, it's going to be a variety of pretty colorful flowers. And then the host plants that caterpillars eat. So it's going to be pops of colors and all sorts of shapes, sizes, textures, and then butterflies flying around wherever we can. Medians, rights of way, schools, homeowners, properties. And then on the food production side, fruit trees wherever we can throughout the city, wherever they make sense, making sure that the clean fruit trees, figs, lychees, stuff like that, that doesn't create a mess. In certain areas for mangoes and some that are more messy that create hundreds of pounds of fruit. Educate the community of how to harvest, when it's going to be in season, put some at parks, or they go out to the parks purposely to harvest, and while they're there, they enjoy the parks. The community garden sites are visualized as social spaces, having tents, having shade. I've heard mention people desiring areas where adults can exercise, children can play, and there's shade available. That describes these gardens completely. The outskirts being an immersive green space garden, the inside having areas of food production where individuals or organizations can have their own plots to grow food. They can do whatever they want, if they want it for their home usage, if they want to donate to a food bank. And eventually I would like the creation of an Opa-locka CRA farmers market where some of this food can be sold. We have a homeowners product as well. If homeowners want to sell their food there, get local farmers in with excess produce that they didn't sell it to others, maybe they'll sell it reduced price here. Can be donated to a food bank, can be weekly food boxes, can all be, we'll ask the community, ask you guys what they want, get the feedback development. Then the urban farm aspect on lots can be shorter term lots, 3 to 5 year leases, or ones that the CRA's purchased to use in perpetuity. These will focus more on maximum fruit production. Less people will visit these sites, people who are knowledgeable, who are running it, who are training farm interns, who are interested people in the in the community who want to, earn some money and or just get the experience, build them up to learn how to grow food. They can then be recommended to other farms or garden centers in the area. And this food can be given to food banks, given to those in need, sold at the farmer's market, given as weekly farm boxes to houses in need who need some fresh food for reduced rates, or again, whatever the community ends up deciding that they want to do with it. And then school garden, there's the food forest for schools from the education fund. They've done 30 different school gardens throughout the Miami County so far. Fully mature food forests, bunch of fruit producing trees, which are also shade trees at the same time, lower level perennial vegetables, vegetable bed, butterfly gardens. And the students, it's a living classroom for the students. They teach them math and certain angles. They teach, photosynthesis stuff. And kids get to experience fresh food. Some of this in some schools are used in the cafeteria lunches to supplement it. And they're also a community resource. They provide shade to the area. They provide beautification to these areas. And finally, the canopy, the tree program. We're give a quick update. They're not going to know the awarding of this tree grant until June 28th. They're currently under review. I don't see why we wouldn't get it. It's for $40,000 currently. We already have where we're planned out, what trees, where we're going to plant them, all that can be modified. And then eventually coming up, there's the Miami Green Neat Streets program, which is $75,000 worth of a grant with $25,000 matching funds required from the CRA for $100,000 more total on street trees as well. So if there's any questions, that's a general overview of the goals.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Board Member Taylor.
Okay, one of my questions was already answered because I was going to ask him about the urban garden, how it relates to that. But then you went into the canopy initiative.
Right.
The grant that we're applying for, because you said that at the end, does that cover?
That's the one that we're going to be applying for is from the county. Most people get awarded that. It's up to $100,000 total. They'll provide $75,000. We would provide $25,000.
I think you're talking about the 40,000 grant from
40,000 is already
Yeah.
applied for.
Yeah.
That one we won't know. They don't announce the results until June 28th. From May to June, they're looking at all the applications. I was told last year no one from Miami-Dade was awarded any funds. There's no reasoning behind that. I don't know what it is, but we have a good, we have the ideal mix of canopy trees, wildlife trees, fruit trees, community involvement. So I don't see why we wouldn't get that. It's a total of 40,000 with planting and trees.
And I also believe that the federal government has a program as well that we can apply
There are
for.
plenty of programs available once we get started and looking. This is a huge initiative. The mayor, I mean, Miami Herald just put out a series of long detailed articles. This is now a priority of the mayor. There's the multi-denominational faith-based group PACT, people acting for community together, and like 30 different churches, synagogues, mosques, all their leaders coming together, and they've been holding these leaders responsible, talking to the mayor, saying, you know, you have this goal for the past 20 years of getting 30% coverage by 2030. Opa-locka's at an 8% tree canopy coverage currently.
Right.
We can do a lot of work towards boosting that. And a lot of it also is not rushing the goal. We can also aim for 2040, 2050, 2060, plant out tons of cheap trees as well as these expensive mature trees, so that no matter what, there will be results.
Okay. And I
Because
just go, I'm
ahead.
done. No, I was only gonna say about, because you, when I asked about the federal government, because I know they have the resiliency program
Right.
that Opa-locka has never took advantage of. And when you brought up the canopy initiative, that's what brought that to my mind.
I mean, I'm fully prepared to look into every source of funding we can. I mean, not even just, you know, the county level is definitely focused on it, but all federal level, state level. Everyone recognizes the importance of, you know, mitigating the heat island
As
effect.
well as the healthy food initiative. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
All right,
and
thank you.
definitely in the food side. I mean, once you start looking, there are plenty of places we can grow food once we get it down.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions from board members? I have a question. When you talk about the homeowners, planting gardens within their yards, so you would supply them with, fruits and vegetables or canopy trees as well?
Everything, the specific initiative for homeowner now as it is designed is to give them everything they need to start growing vegetables in their front yard, folks in the front yard, just because it's also beautification, everything. There's no reason that vegetables can't be beautiful. And I can show you pictures. Foodscaping is the concept. Vegetables are just as pretty as any other plant. We'll give them the automatic water timer, the efficient drip irrigation tubing. So it's the minimum amount of water that they need. You can calculate how much goes out. The compost, the mulch, the soil amendment, starting with the vegetable seedlings that they can put out, giving them seeds to grow in the future, giving them the potting mix, the seed starting mix, the pots, and then the educational component and keeping it going. And then the butterfly component aspect. The butterfly gardens are essentially just a variety of colorful flowers in all shapes, sizes, textures, scents. So also having that in the starter package for their front yards, start beautifying some of these yards in easy, simple manners.
Okay, I think.
I just had a vague memory, a few years ago, I believe, I think it was in North Miami, where a lady had a vegetable garden in front of her house, and that was a huge issue.
Miami Shores.
Miami
Miami
Shores,
Shores.
it was Miami Shores, okay. So I'm
She
like,
led the way. She had
She
like
led the way. She
30
fought.
years.
She changed the
She
law
fought.
that allows this to happen.
Yeah,
They're no longer allowed to ban front yard vegetable gardens
Okay.
throughout the state. She did like 30 years of gardening her front yard in pots. And it definitely shortened her life having to battle it and not getting it all of a sudden. I mean, it was beautiful. She did it in pots, so it could have been prettier, but there was nothing wrong with it at all. She got outside every day. It gave her exercise. It gave her social interaction with the community and her neighbors. It gave her fresh fruits and vegetables. I mean, it was a shame, but her lasting legacy is that it is now signed into law that you
Okay.
cannot be told that you cannot have a front yard vegetable.
and then Opa-locka is a food desert as well. We're a food desert, so.
Yeah, there's no reason we can't grow our way out of that, at least partially.
Mr. Director, when are we waiting on grant dollars to come in? Is this something we looking to implement soon?
This is something we want to implement now, and we've already started applying for grants. But if they come, they come. We would like to start getting this program up and running very soon.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? If not, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes.
yes. Yes.
Yes.
You gotta talk in the mic.
Board Chair Russell,
Yes.
Motion passes.
5-0.
Motion passes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Ms. Attorney.
Thank you, Clerk Walker. Tab number 2, a resolution of the Opa-locka Community Redevelopment Agency further authorizing the implementation of the Development Assistance Program and engagement of Walter Enterprises not to exceed $60,000 as detailed in tab number 2, providing for the allocation of funds for your consideration.
Move it.
Moved by Board Member Kelly,
Second.
second by Board Member Bass. Mr. Director, please.
This is a part of our infill housing program. This is the second grant that we're granting to Wildtower Enterprises. The first was for the duplex across the street. He's already started on working on and it's almost done, frankly, with this one. And we're just duplicating the same grant that we gave with that one. There would be a workforce restriction in the agreement for up to 5 years.
What's a
And-
workforce restriction?
The rents can't be more than what the workforce rate is.
Oh, okay. Board Member Bass.
Thank you. You said up to 5 years?
Yes.
Okay. I don't like that, up to 5 years. Because it can be at any time prior to 5 years, then it's no longer.
We could say 5 years.
I would prefer.
Okay, do we need to make an amendment?
No, we will put it in the agreement.
Okay, okay. So, for 5 years at least,
Correct.
at least 5 years.
Which is a lot for $60,000, but yes.
Yeah, that was my point right there.
You never know unless you ask. Not because you asked now.
Okay, we're anticipating the market going down.
Down.
There's hope. There's hope. Let's hope. Any other questions for the manager? We know, for the director, we know the work that Mr. Waltower has done and is doing. And if you haven't gone over there in Magnolia North, the triangle, go over there and look, go over there and look at the work that he's done. And he gave us a timeline. And that was one of the most important things, that he kept that timeline. And those places are beautiful. People are living in them. So that's a plus, Opa-locka. We are doing it. We are doing it. We are doing it. So thank you to Mr. Waltower. Board Member Kelly.
Yes, I just want to echo that, and the fact that the signage indicates that the CRA is doing something. I know the pictures are small, but we've heard so long, what is the CRA doing? And believe it or not, that's a big step in putting that out there. The fact that Mr. Waltower is what I call homegrown, and we can see it. So I'm excited about doing this and also going forward in the future. And obviously, when we get to that point, to let us know so we can maybe have even more media there.
Yeah.
Because my challenge when I ride through and I see the one completed, and I just said people are living there, and then he's working on the one across the street or whatever, but it's kind of untold. But if they were to start shooting over there, 4-7-10 and everybody else will be over there. But here's a story that needs to be told, from rising from the ashes in that area, because you know it like all of us do. So I'm excited to see it and glad that it's here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And I'll echo the sentiments that Mr. Waltower is an Opa-lockian. And he reminds me of that. I grew up right here in Opa-locka, so we're glad to see. And we're glad to see things that are happening, that we're moving some things forward through the CRA. It's a great day, great day. Nothing else? Madam Clerk?
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Board Member Kelly,
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Mr. Attorney, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving right along, tab number 3, the item is a resolution of the Opa-locka CRA authorizing the director and the CRA attorney to conduct the purchase of properties located at 2145 Alibaba Avenue to include preparing title work to complete the transaction, providing for an effective date for your consideration.
Mr. Director, please.
Yes, ma'am. This is, I would like to add an amendment to this one. This would be subject to the appraisal price coming in at $350,000 or more. So I would add that as an amendment to this item. We were approached a couple of months ago by the 10 North Group about a previous conversation that they had with previous administration here regarding donating basically 2 lots on Alibaba Avenue to the CRA. And if you, for your orientation, I will point you to the chairwoman's office. And there's a park next to her office to the west.
Okay.
That's there. Okay. And then there are empty lots in that park. There's a pathway, a brick pathway that goes to the other street. And there's an empty lot. There was a structure at this location, 2145. This came up for sale last week, 2 weeks ago. As soon as the sign went up, we called because we believe that this piece is critical in a puzzle that could be a part of a future development at that site. Because the city owns 2 lots there, 10 North owns 2 lots there. This is one of the private lots that was owned, and the other one was a county lot that was donated to Palmetto Homes. So we think that if the city, 10 North, CRA, Palmetto Homes get together and do a joint development, and this is a major piece to that puzzle. So we're asking for $350,000 to buy 2145, subject to the appraisal coming in at $350,000. We just didn't have enough time to get the appraisal done and get this approval. I'd rather get the approval now, subject to what the appraisal says. If it's less than $350,000, obviously we would bring that back to you. This would also be one of those properties that we would use as a community garden. We would own it. And before we do anything during the planning stages of whatever we decide to do there, this is a lot. This could be one of the first lots that the CRA owns where we can have a sizable community garden. And so we ask for your approval of this item to purchase 2145 Alibaba Avenue.
Madam Chair,
Madam Chair.
Board Member Bass, then Board Member Kelly.
what's the size of that lot?
Give me 1 second.
Right here.
I would have to
4,800 square foot.
4,800 square feet.
no, it's bigger than that. It's a lot bigger than that. Give me a second. I'll get that for you before the end of the meeting.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Board Member Kelly.
Thank you. I would support the item with the amendment. That was my biggest concern with the appraisal would come back. But I am of the opinion, I've said it many times in this meeting as well as city, if we're going to really change the look, the dynamics, the appearance, the whatever of our city, you got to control the land. You got to control the assets. And so I think if it comes back with the appraisal that the director is referring to, we ought to buy it because it is a critical piece in that area. If somebody else were to get it and put something there, I don't even know what the zoning might allow, but it probably might not be something we would want to see in that area, given what's already there. But if we own it, then we control what goes there, or maybe not go there for that matter. that we don't own it. So I would be supportive. And at the time, after discussion, comments, Madam Chair, I'll move the motion with that, that caveat of the appraisal after the discussion.
Madam Chair.
Board Member, Vice Chair Williams.
So I echo Board Member Kelly that I agree we have got to own land. So I'm excited that we move quickly on this. Mr. Manager, if you can help me understand, you mentioned at the top of your comments that 10 North Group was going to transfer land to the city of Opa-locka, but then you mentioned they're still holding on to the land. So can you help me understand who has the land and what the plans are for, obviously not 2145 Alabama, but I believe it's the kitty lot that you're talking about, correct?
Yes. This was actually brought to my attention through the chairwoman. We had conversations and then she set up a meeting with me and the attorney for 10 North, Miss Tassif Rodriguez. And Miss Tassif Rodriguez told me that the 10 North Group was interested in transferring those 2 lots that they own to the CRA for the only purpose of having a unified development there. They didn't want to transfer it to us to keep it as a park. They didn't want us to, you know, they only wanted us to build a unified development with the city and with Palmetto Homes. And then there were 2 private owners that are a part of this equation that I was supposed to go and speak with to see if that was even possible. And we're now buying one of those 2 private people out. And we can't get in touch with the other one, even though he's in Miami Lakes. But this is a piece of that puzzle, purchasing this toward a unified development on that site.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the director? I'm also excited, Mr. Director, to see that we're moving forward on the plan that the CRA has of owning land and making some development over there in that area. I see that a lot of people are riding over there every day, looking, getting out of their cars, asking questions. So I'm glad to see that we Opa-lockians are trying to make sure that we keep the property and the land in our hands. As Board Member Kelly said, then we can direct what goes there and what doesn't go there. So thank you, Board Member Kelly and Mr. Director. If nothing else, moved by Board Member Kelly.
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Williams. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Board Member Kelly,
Yes.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes.
5-0, motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tab number 4, another resolution for your consideration of the CRA board authorizing the director to establish the residential homes rehab program.
Mr. Director, you want to tell us about this?
This is basically to duplicate our commercial facade improvement program and also replace the paint, pave, and something else program that we had. This would be aimed at doing more substantial work on people's homes to replace their windows with impact windows, to replace their roofs, to fix code enforcement violations. So it would be more substantial work done. I think we're asking for how much are we asking for? 700,000. I'm sorry, $1 million for this project. And we're looking at least up to $40,000 per home.
How much?
40,000.
Madam Chair, we asked a question yet?
Yes,
Uh,
Board Member Kelly, then Board Member Taylor.
Yeah, I need a little more understanding how this would work. You said that this would be up to 40,000 on a home, and you mentioned impact windows, et cetera. So I need a little more simplistic version of how this would work, how homes would be chosen, and all those kind of things. Because I need a little more clarity on how this process will work.
Well, we would run this in-house. We would advertise it like we advertise all the programs, and we would put it on our website, and we done on obviously all properties within the Opa-locka CRA will be eligible. And my intention is that unless anybody have a better idea, that it would be on a first come, first served basis. As far as the improvements are concerned, it's on page 4 of the plan, which includes painting of the exterior, landscaping, improvements to the facade of the home, roof repairs, gutter repairs, plumbing repairs, and electrical repairs. And we're giving priority to those people who are unable to fix code enforcement violations. And by the way, the other important thing is this is not for absentee property owners. You have to live in the home. It has to be a homesteaded property. But if you have a better way of selecting the homes, I was just doing on a first come, first served basis.
Well, that was my next point, but you said they have to live in it you said it has to be homestead, so that's forever.
It has to be homestead now.
Okay, but how long? Is it because I've seen where people are out, they own it, they live there, and then next year they've got improvements or gotten whatever.
Yeah, as a part of the agreement that they would sign, it would be just like what we just did with Mr. Walter. They would have to stay in the home at least 5 years. We haven't come up with the agreement yet. This is just a program. They would have to stay in the home at least 5 years. If they sell the home, this is how this usually works, then a portion of that would need to be paid back to the CRA for every year of what's ever left on it. That's how the agreement would work out.
All right, totally sold on that. Got out here comments. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Board member, I think Taylor first and Williams.
Okay, well, Commissioner Kelly already said one of my concerns, which is what happens after. So how long does the owner have to stay in the home? But this is to the attorney. Is there a way, Mr. Attorney, that if the person, let's just say we say you have up to 5 years that you must stay in the home, can we say some language that and CRA will have first right of refusal to purchase the home?
You can put different conditions on or covenants on each agreement in regards to like preventing them from, and if they do sell it, right, that there will be some benefit back to the CRA. But in terms of a condition for you to have first right of refusal to purchase the home, not sure if we can do that in regards to you having the I'm not sure we can do that.
Okay.
Board member.
I wasn't sure either. That's why I wanted to ask. And that's my only question.
But you can do, you can put additional restrictive covenants on the property to make sure that they don't benefit from the improvements.
No, and I heard the manager talk about the covenant, so I didn't see it in the application process.
No, it's not in.
So I'm eager to see what the application process the application actually looks.
The agreement.
Agreement, sorry, looks like, but because I didn't see it,
we don't have it
question
here.
Okay, but thank you.
We can bring that back. We can bring that back for you. The next agenda.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager. So in talking about how we give away the funds, I would love if we could consider prioritizing seniors in the process. Additionally, love that we've included impact window installation. You know that I care about us making sure that as we are rebuilding these homes, we're thinking about it from a green perspective. So I would also encourage us to include AC upgrades as well, where possible. And then lastly, just to build on the point about kind of making sure that people live in the homes. I wonder if there's a way that well, I guess the question I have is, how will we confirm if they still live in the house for 5 years, right? So we can put that condition, but is there something that we're going to do, like send them a revalidation every single year that they have to affirm that they still live there?
Correct.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Board Member Bass.
you mentioned $40,000. Is that approximately or is it what is going to be?
So every home's gonna be different, and
Mhm.
so the idea would be that if it goes above $40,000 for a particular home, we would bring that home to the board for approval.
Okay, I was just asking because I wanted to know if we were talking about labor at that price or cost, or labor and materials.
Both.
Okay,
And it's up to, the consideration is up to 40,000 for that specific property.
okay.
And up to 40,000 based on salary, right? Or
Yeah,
household
and,
income.
and we don't have to, like, some homes don't need everything, right?
Right.
Some homes just need a paint job. So we pay $1,200 to paint a house, that's it. And so not every home's gonna get $40,000, but for the desperately needed home, the most desperate person, like I had a woman come in the other day who was, she heard about the rent relief program, and she was like, what about us that own here and have been here and can't afford to fix up our homes because
Yeah.
we're on a fixed income, and she's got code enforcement violations. So those would be absolutely, Vice Chair, our priorities. Elderly people that we know are going to stay in their homes that can't afford to fix up their place, but it's a life and safety issue, or investing in something that saves them money. If you put impact windows in the house, your insurance is going to go down, your electricity is going to go down. That's money back into their pockets. So that's what we're trying to do with this program. We ask for your approval.
And one last question, Madam Chair, before you call the question. Are we gonna use the same contractor for this project? We had this issue before when we got before and after pictures and they were literally.
No.
So-
No, so the idea
So,
behind this project program is exactly like the commercial improvement program. The homeowner can go on their own and select their contractors, or we could give them, we could send contractors to them that will do the 3 bids for the job.
Can we shepherd that process?
We
so that
can. It
ensure
actually
that the
says
work
that
is-
we would, but
Okay,
we also give the homeowner the opportunity to do it if they want to as well.
I don't agree with the homeowner doing it. That's just me, because again, we've been down this road before.
The lawyers like the homeowners to do it because then the liability is off us. Something goes wrong. But we do
I
right.
see what you did there. I see what you did there, Mr. Lawyer. But you know what I mean. We've been down this road before.
But we do write in our agreements, that there's a hold harmless by us choosing the contractors.
Well, my concern, Mr. Director, number one, is that seniors get, especially seniors that have lived in Opa-locka for 30, 50 years. I would like to see those seniors get priority that live in the CRA area. 5 years for me is a short period of time, because if you start work and the work takes about a year, then they have 4 years and they can sell the house.
Well, it'd be after the completed permits are done, and then that's when the clock will start running.
Are we looking at, for instance, if you do the house and the person die in the process of the house being done before the 5 years is up, and the house goes to the children, are they still under that covenant?
Yes.
Are they going to be held under that covenant as well?
Yes.
When we did the just for the sake of clarity, when we did the rental assistance program and a home ownership program, I got a lot of pushback from people in the community because they feel like it's just free for all, give all, and that the people that really need it don't always get it because they don't know about it, or they're not really, they don't feel comfortable in allowing people to come in and do their homes. I have a neighbor on the corner from me, that really needs some work done, but she doesn't feel comfortable with Opa-locka. So in rolling out this program, if it's passed, we really need to do some town hall meetings, and whatever advertisement that we send out, please put the boundaries of the CRA, because we've had people that don't know, they just think it's the city, and then they apply and they're disappointed. You know, I contacted you today with some seniors that had put in applications, but they don't live in the CRA. And their applications, they said, have been on. They were one of the first ones. So we want to, as much as can, I know we can't clear everything, but as much as we can, try to make sure that people are informed that it's the CRA area, and put maps, landmarks, anything to help them identify that what the CRA boundaries are, because most people don't know. Sometime I have to look it up to see is a house in or an establishment is in the CRA area. Those are my concerns. I still have a little problem with the 5 years, but if that's the wish of the board, you know, I'll go along. But I think that's a very short period of time. for
Well, so,
people
but
to-
you also have to remember it's not a lot of money either. So, like, for example, all of these agreements are going to be different. We're not going to put a 5-year restriction on somebody that we paint their house for $1,200. Like that's unreasonable. So every one would be different. And up to $40,000 would be the 5 years. But not everyone will have a restriction, because if the work is small, then it's just something that we're supposed to be doing.
Okay, also, I would like to ask, if you would, I know you can't bring those applications back to the board for us to approve everyone, but if we would get an update on a monthly basis of the homes that are being done, so that we would know, and when we're asked in the community, we could ride by and see the work that's being done. So that information, I think, is powerful, and we as a board being educated on what's being done and the homes that are being done, I think it's important. So if you would keep us abreast on a monthly basis or quarterly basis as to what homes are being done and what area, and try to get some of the areas of the CRA that we haven't been in or done anything as of yet. I see you, Board Member Taylor.
And I know you're about to call the question, but I'm gonna go back to what our chair always says. I would even say in the covenant agreement that we ensure that signage. So this house is being whatever by this Opa-locka CRA, and the sign must stay in the yard
Yes.
for the duration of the project and 3 months after. So people know that we rehab this property. So to Madam Chair's point, people know that the CRA is doing something.
Okay, nothing further. We can call for the question, please. Madam Clerk.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Board Member Kelly,
Yes.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes.
5-0.
Mr. Attorney, we have another one.
Yes, I do, Madam Chair. Tab number 5, resolution.
We
of the-
still have quorum? Okay,
Yes. Of the CRA, authorizing the director and the CRA attorney to conduct the purchase of property located at 391 Opa-locka Boulevard and 879 Fisherman Street, to include preparing title work to complete the transactions.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make an amendment to this one as well. I would like to put the purchase price at $1,650,000. And then the other amendment would be that this would also be subject to the appraised value. Now, on this one, we do have 2 appraisals that, for whatever reason, it's taking a very long time to do. I've been promised that I will have them on Friday. I've been promised that for the past 4 weeks. But I told both of them that we have a meeting. I know you want to give me all your paperwork and your report, but I need to know right now, what's the number? What is it appraised at? So I can at least put it on the agenda. And they told me it was 1.6 million, $50,000. So we're going with that number. We will have the official appraisal report. So I would amend this also, subject to the appraisal. But I know what this number is going to be, and that's the number that we offered. And I've talked to Mr. Bennett twice this week, and he's waiting on his partners to get back to us, but he believes that it will be a number that they will accept. And for
Okay.
purposes, the 391 building is and 879 Fisherman is the pink building right behind us here, and the restaurant in the back.
Madam Chair,
I'm not gonna let you go first.
because you already know I am excited about this.
Oh, that makes two of us.
You,
I can't
but
even
Jason knows I am
contain my
excited.
excitement. Yeah.
You know, I've had my eye on that property. Thank you. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Okay.
So I will, Madam Chair.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will say that this has the ability to help transform
Yes.
downtown
Yes,
Opa-locka.
ma'am.
And as you know, I have been talking about this building for a really long time. And so, Mr. Manager, thank you for coming in, for listening, and for making it happen. And so fingers crossed that, it all works out. I know that this is still early on. This is just the first resolution, but our ability to control that property and activate it will work wonders for our community. So thank you.
Okay. So nothing else to be said.
So, call the question.
Thank you again, Mr. Manager. Our previous interim director, Mr. Corion, he had been back and forth with Mr. Bennett for a long time. So he did a lot of the footwork, but I see Mr. Walker, you came in and you got it done. So we're excited. We're excited about where the CRA is going. And as Board Member Kelly stated before he left, when you own property, you could set the direction as to where you want your city to go. And that is in downtown Opa-locka. And there's a downtown redevelopment plan that we have for downtown Opa-locka. And it's so glad to know that we're going to be able to control that corner. So anything, Board Member Bass? Call for the question, please, Madam Clerk.
That was moved by,
No.
Need a motion in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion?
Second.
No, I'm saying who moved? the
I'll
motion?
move.
I'll second.
Okay, motion moved by Board Member Taylor, second by Vice Chair Williams.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Williams.
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes.
motion passed 4-0.
And to be clear, that motion included the two amendments that's subject to appraisal report and changing the amount from 1.6 million to 1.6 million $50,000.
Correct.
Moving right along, Madam Chair, tab
Yes.
number 6,
Yes,
a
sir.
resolution of the CRA extending the appointment of Florida Strategic Partners LLC as the executive director, providing executive director services to the CRA, approving the finalization of the agreement for an amount not to exceed $111,000 for said services for your consideration.
Can I get Mr. Director, you wanna explain this, or you want us to just go right here?
Well, when we originally, I don't want to get into this right now. So we can pass it or not pass it, but move on quickly. But when we originally engaged, it was for a 6-month period. That 6-month period ended in February. So we just want to make sure that for auditing purposes, for state compliance, that we're doing the right thing. So we're extending this contract from the February point. We have, and I've talked to the chair about this. We have spoken with the HR department and have started the process in finding you a permanent executive director. We're also starting the process of finding you a permanent program manager and CRA manager. that we put 3 requisitions in for that purpose, and we hope to start that process fairly soon, and hopefully within the next 3 to 4 months, have candidates for you to look after. I believe, and I tell you this, that I'm not afraid to say when I made a mistake. When I came in, I said that, we were going to do 1099 for all the employees because we are going to save money, and we are saving money because we're not paying health insurance and we're not paying taxes and so forth. We're not paying retirement. So we are saving money in that instance. But I truly believe that Opa-locka CRA deserves people and a staff that's focused on Opa-locka CRA full-time and only. I'm here every day. Our staff is here every day. But I also have other cities that I have to focus on as well. And so I truly believe that I can still remain and help in an assisting role. But you really do need your own permanent focus only on Opa-locka CRA executive director. And we'll get into that process later. Right now, we're just doing this for compliance.
Madam Chair.
Board Member Taylor.
You're gonna apply, right? I would just ask the question that everybody want to know.
I may apply. What I don't want is this, happen.
We don't have to go into it, but
I don't want this what do you call it?
Teeter
The
totter?
interim.
Yeah.
It needs to be
permanent.
Somebody has to have it permanent. And we may apply, who knows? But the interim needs to be taken off, and we need to have the ability to move forward. But we'll see what happens.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
I've already, he knows how I feel, so I've already said it. Board Member Bass?
Thank you. The extension, how long is it?
The attorney put it until August. The attorney put it until December of this year.
So
That gives us time to go through the process.
Board Member Bass, which one is it? It's December.
Okay.
Was my recommendation to you for consistency. This is
Thank you.
fiscally cleaner.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Call for in no other concerns, let's call for the question. Was it moving second?
No.
Okay, can I get someone to move it, please?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Board Member Taylor, second by Vice Chair Williams. Can we have the question, Madam Clerk?
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes.
4-0, motion passed.
Okay.
Madam Chair, that the last item for consideration before the discussion items is one that's very important to this board. It's a resolution of the CRA authorizing the transfer of payment of a total of $15,000 to the city for the provision of services of the Office of the City Clerk to the CRA.
Can, Mr. Director, can you give us a little background on this?
In August of 2023, the clerk took over responsibility for clerking this board. Before, that was done in-house by the CRA clerk. And she did an excellent job. She has maintained our records in the appropriate way, where we can find things and go back and figure things out. Where right now we're having a hard time figuring out some stuff in the past because we just don't know where it is. But she is, overworked. She has a lot on her plate. And this was an extra thing that she was doing for us without a formal agreement, and she wasn't getting paid. And so it's not up to us to pay her because the services were provided by her department. And so what we're doing is transferring this $15,000 in lieu of the services they rendered to us between August and tonight. This would cover that. And then Peggy will now be assuming, and she's been trained and will continue to be trained by the clerk. And she will be assuming her responsibilities. And this would clear this up. Everybody's happy. and nobody's being treated unfairly by feeling like they're working for free.
Sounds good. And I know that the board, all of the board members appreciate the city clerk and the great job that she did in making sure that records were in place and things were done, and the training of Ms. Peggy. And she told me that it will be ongoing. She will continue as much as we need her assistance. She's here to assist us. So we thank Ms. Flores for all that she do through her office. And sometime money doesn't mean as much as letting the person know how much you appreciate what they do. So anyone else? If not, we're gonna go ahead and call for the was it moved?
No, moved
I'll
by-
move it.
Moved by Vice Chair Williams, second by Board Member Bass. Call for the question, please.
Vice Chair Williams,
Yes.
Board Member Bass,
Yes.
Board Member Taylor,
Yes.
Chair Russell,
Yes.
motion passed 4-0.
Okay, that's it.
Yes, ma'am. So on to discussion items. So we only have 2 discussion items left. We withdrew the other discussion item. And I just want to explain something. Some of you were on an email chain that went out earlier this week. Ms. Rose Titus, who's here, former commissioner, she sent out an email blast, I would say, to a whole bunch of people asking about the status update of her butterfly garden and prayer center. And then there was an email back and forth with the manager, myself, Ms. Titus. And so I just wanted to explain to the board from my perspective this issue with the butterfly garden. And I've learned more since meeting with Dr. Bass. I've learned even more about the process, even to the fact that she was the sponsor of it, which I had no idea. But there's a piece of city land within the city of Opa-locka that's owned by the city of Opa-locka. At some point, the city of Opa-locka Commission decided to name that piece of land as the Rose Titus Prayer Garden Butterfly Garden. And then at some point in the summer of 2023, the CRA decided to pass a resolution to have Fairchild Botanical Garden curate this space for the CRA and for the city. In July, that was in June, in July, the Fairchild Tropical Garden sent a letter. Again, not addressed to me. This was before we started. It was addressed to the former director. And the letter basically said, before we can do the work that you're contracting us to do, there's certain things that need to get done infrastructure-wise at this space. Some sprinklers, electrical lighting, fencing, fountains, things like that. Because you don't want to plant what they were going to do, spend $30,000, and then later you come and tear everything up by doing the infrastructure. And so that's what we understood. Now, initially, when we first got this contract, my partner, Adam O, was dealing with Fairchild Tropical Garden on this particular issue. And so we have communication with them and what they wanted and what they needed. Now, the manager says that I've never talked to him about this before. But in fact, in September, in our first meeting that we had a number of items on the agenda. And one of those items, and Adam O, my partner, was in the meeting, was this part and what should be done. Because here are the things that Fairchild Tropical Garden need in order for them to do their work. This is not a CRA property, it's a city park. And so what I conveyed to the manager at that point in September was, how would you like us to proceed? It's your property, so if we do the work, if we go out and hire the contractors, you would need to give us permission to go on your property to do that. Or you can give us a scope of work with pricing and you give that to us, and then we can transfer the money to you and you do the work. At that point, there was no real discussion about the item. October, November, December goes by. Ms. Titus is still calling the CRA, asking for updates. And so when I have my second and only meeting with the city manager, again, this item was brought up. This time I had my staff member, Sandy Dorsonville, in that meeting. And again, we asked,
Something beeping.
this is the mayor's phone. Sorry about that.
Like it's a fire drill or something. Fire drill.
Sorry about
going
that.
on.
I just threw you
Go
right
ahead,
under the
I'm
bus.
sorry, I'm glad we got some humor in here. Go ahead.
I mean, it's not it's real. I just want the board to be aware where we are. We are open, but also to clear up that, to say that this issue has never been brought to the attention of the administration
Okay,
is
okay.
not the case. And we stand ready to assist in front of Ms. Titus, who's here, in any way possible. If the city tells us that, you know, how much it costs, then we'll transfer the money. If they tell us that we should do it, then they should give us permission to do it. But we need to know it's not our land. We didn't make the dedication. The only thing that I have authorization, oh, and by the way, the only thing that I have authorization to do is to pay Fairchild Tropical Garden. I don't have authorization to do the infrastructure work that needs to be done, but I offer to do that because I'm sure that if we have the money that I can come back to this board and get approval to do also the infrastructure work. So I don't know where the confusion is.
It's cleared up now.
Okay,
It's cleared up.
thank
It's
you.
cleared up.
And by the way, I think Dr. Bass, who met with me and Ms. Titus, and she cleared a lot of things up for us as well. And then I met with Dr. Bass alone, and we've also cleared it up between us, and we know the way forward. So.
Okay. All right. Well, that being said, that's not something that we have to vote on.
No.
But I would like, Dr. Bass, would you like to have anything to say? Because I know that you work diligently to get that designation of a prayer garden for Commissioner Titus. So would you like to have anything to say before we move on? And we'll get, the process is gonna get started.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, let me say thank you to everyone who had a voice in making this happen for Commissioner Titus. I'm not going to say too much because sometimes less is more. I will say to Commissioner Titus, be patient. Let this take its course. It's going to happen. Don't sweat about it. It's not necessary. We're going to work with the city. The city is going to work with the CRA, and we're going to make it happen. So just rest assured it's going to happen. Maybe not at your pace, but it's going to happen. And now that it has already been ignited, that we're on top of it again, it's going to happen. Okay? It's going to happen. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr. Director and Board Member Bass. And I'm glad to see that this is being worked out. And I know on the, when when Board Member Bass take off her CRA hat and put on her commission hat, she's working on it on the city side. And she's also working with you, Mr. Director, on the CRA side to make sure that it gets done. So it's going to get done. And I can't give a date, a process of time, but we're on top of it. We're on top.
We are working on it. I mean, even Brian can tell you that, you know, I had him look at this also because, I mean, as far back as last September, to see how we can help put butterflies in this place. And we stand ready to help in any way we can. If it was our property, we would do it. If you want to give us permission to do it, we'll go and do it. And that's all it takes. Madam Chair, the next item is the last item, is discussion item. We had a request from, what's the name of the company? Integral
Yes.
Florida.
Before you start,
Yeah.
I need to recuse myself.
If you recuse yourself, we don't have a quorum.
But we're not voting
We're
on
not
it.
voting. There's no need to
We're
recuse.
not voting on it. It's just a
There's no
discussion.
need to recuse.
I am asking for a vote.
Oh,
I'll let you discuss that with the attorney.
I have no idea what the conflict is, so maybe someone could explain.
I can't say that it's definitely a conflict, but it may have the appearance of a conflict. And I rather shun the very appearance of a conflict. So I didn't know it was a voting item unless I would have asked us to move it up to the top of the agenda while board member Kelly was here.
Yeah, the vice chair just pointed out something that is correct. I'm gonna double check, but I can actually do this on my own.
I told you, I think that could have been done without the board's approval.
But I don't like doing things like that.
I know.
on my own.
You want to bring everything to us. We understand and we appreciate that.
So for the purposes of discussion, Integral is developing a property. What's the address again?
I'm gonna walk out, okay?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, approach, please.
No,
Give a presentation.
You're recused. My apologies. Good evening, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, Mr. Attorney, Mr. Executive Director, Aaron McKinney with Integral Florida. Office is located at 690 Lincoln Road on Miami Beach, 33139. Yeah, so the request in front of you is just a simple request for demolition. So as we mentioned, or Mr. Walker mentioned, we're redeveloping the former Jackson Health Maternity Ward on 147th and 27th Avenue. We actually just had our groundbreaking ceremony last week, although not much of a groundbreaking considering we're already on the third floor. But the request was for partial demolition. As you all know, there's a current improvement on the site, slightly obstructing the way for which we're going to be constructing the parking lot. That is an owner's item that was never part of the GC budget. We're just trying to offset some costs. So we thought we'd come to the CRA requesting $25,000 to help us out with the demolition costs of that partial portion of the structure. There's a packet in front of you with all the details of the plan. We'll gladly share if there's any more questions that are with regard to the plan that's in front of you, but very straightforward request where we're just asking for support for the CRA to help us out with some demolition.
Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
I'm not opposed to it. However, are we doing a demolition or we are transferring?
we
the
would
funds?
just transfer
So
the
it's,
money.
it's costs we've already covered, so
Okay.
we're being reimbursed.
Just a reimbursement.
Yep.
Of the cost. And this, you said it's in the parking lots, but it's not the hospital itself, right?
It's not the hospital. So it was, I'm imagining just because of the construction of it, like the carport or ambulance port that was intruding into our actual property.
So that would be the east side of the building.
That would be the north side of the building. There's a small, not even maybe.
Oh, that
5,000
little
square feet.
building that was
Yeah,
right.
the little piece,
Okay,
yeah,
I know.
little pocket we
Okay,
had to tear out to make
Okay.
way for the driveway.
okay. And you're asking the CRA for
Yeah, 25,000.
reimbursement.
Yep.
Any other questions? Congratulations on the breaking. Thank you.
So you just submit me a letter and the same letter and your backup plan, and whatever costs you had, we'll reimburse. Okay.
And you're gonna allow us to put a sign on your gate that said that this property was demolished. If Ms. Russell would say that's what she would ask for, so I just thought I might just throw it out there.
I think that's the last discussion item, right? Okay, so any board comments?
I will say this, Mr. Director,
He's getting
Oh.
board chair. Russell.
I know we've been making a joke about the signs all night. However, I just want to say, driving down 27th Avenue and looking at the banner that you wrapped around the restaurant was extremely impressive. because it lets this, and everybody has been asking, what are you all putting at that restaurant? So it started the conversation here in the city of Opa-locka. So I just want to let you know how thankful I am that you put Opa-locka, the CRA.
Well, you're about to get signed out because we are ordering, we're putting in the order for the commercial rehab
Mhm.
projects that we're doing, which is approximately 10 commercial buildings. We're ordering signs for all 10 of those spots
That's great.
to let
That's
people
great.
know that rehabilitation of this building is coming and it's sponsored by the OCRA. So you should be seeing those in the next couple of weeks. as
I'm
well.
excited. So thank you for that.
I just want to say, my family members have said, wow, what's going on in Opa-locka? I see that sign around the building. I got a call yesterday from somebody, what are y'all doing with that Chinese restaurant? So signage means a lot. And just to bring attention. And when you get started, I know that you're doing something at that liquor store.
Mhm.
I'm
We're
not.
putting the first payment in for the windows. The windows went in today. That was for $35,000. So you should be seeing impact windows at that location soon. The sign will be replaced. The parking lot will be done. So that's the first check that we're gonna write to start this process.
And when we go to do the ribbon cutting, Ms. Russell, you gonna buy some communion.
I'll
that
go
what you
there
asked
to
for?
get my communion, get my communion drink while I'm there, okay? But you won't see me just tit-totting in there. But I want it to look nice, so I'm looking forward to that. Someone said something to me today. They said they put up a fence around their house, and their neighbor on the side of them, fence was down, and said their neighbor went and fixed their fence, and then they cut their trees. So when you do something and people see it, then it encourages others to do it as well. So thank you, Mr. Director. I think that the will of for myself and Board Member Kelly, we're one of the ones that have been on the board the longest. When we didn't have any money, we were here on the CRA board. So to see things begin to move in the CRA, I am happy. Commissioner Titus as well was a part of the CRA when it first was formed, and we didn't have any money. We used to just come and meet. And a lot of the board members wouldn't come because they said it was nothing to do. So they wouldn't come to the meetings. But thank you so very much for the work that you're doing.
And just to give you an update, you should see paint on the annex building of Jackson Soul Food 2 with a new awning. You should see paint at Jackson Soul Food 2. You should see paint at the Bell,
Mr. Ball?
Mr. Ball, sorry, Mr. Ball's building. You should see windows in the liquor store all within the next couple of weeks.
Wow.
And then we're working on, we couldn't get everything done for this meeting for, I think it's three other locations, but we're working on agreements on their separate agreements, and we'll bring those back. We may actually, the thought was, may call a special CRA meeting in May before your next commission meeting, so that you can just approve those three locations, so we could get those started and not wait until the June meeting. But that's just a thought that may come your way, just to get those three items done for the next three, which would be the restaurant. I think there's a Dominican restaurant in front of the school here on Alibaba, next to the car wash. Miss Denise Lee's place over here. And we're
Where's
also,
what is Mr. Neasley's place?
Miss Denise Lee is on the corner right here, which is the print shop,
BC Print Shop.
Oh, okay. DC.
DC print shop,
yes.
and the restaurant. And then the church has an annex building that we're gonna start cleaning out. And your
Church where?
the bank.
The old historic bank?
Oh, okay.
Nice.
The old historic.
I'm sorry, you said you're gonna clean it out?
Yeah, it has hundreds of, I mean, thousands of bottles of some type of soda.
Wow.
And,
And then what are we gonna do with, I guess they'll use the building, but we'll just clean it out for them.
it will be a community space. They're looking at doing like a community meeting space with a small theater. So it'll be like a theater where you could go view movies, and also change into a community space where the people can have meetings or rent out for parties.
The
or-
Cultural Arts Center.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, please.
Sounds good. Sounds. Anything else for Mr. Director? We have a guest here in the meeting tonight. Just tell us who you are.
You actually got to speak to the mic.
We love to see people come
Good
to our
evening.
meetings. We don't get people that often.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Samuel Hippolyte. I'm a program manager at FIU. We have a program there called Neighborhood Help, where we assist people in the community. I am assigned to Opa-locka. So we're servicing people in the area, and I've always been interested in Opa-locka, the history and how it's being developed, and I've been decided to attend those meetings and then to see how things are going
Okay,
and then share anything that I may have with you guys. And
okay,
the way the program works is people who needs assistance, we function as outreach. We recruit people in the community and assign them a specific outreach a member where they assist them. If they don't have health insurance, we have a mobile health clinic located in Miami Garden.
mhm,
They can see a doctor free of charge, and an outreach member
Okay.
where they can
social
social
service.
services.
So
Perfect.
make sure you share your card with our clerk and so that our director will have it on a file. So whenever we need or you have anything that's going on, you can share it with them and they'll share the
Wonderful.
information of the
Wonderful.
CRA.
Sometimes I participate in events, and then that's one of the reasons why I participate in the meetings and see what you guys are going to have in the future. So I'm excited to keep coming in person because I attended like via Zoom last time, and coming in person, I think it's way better.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you told us what you were here for. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Move. Second.
Motion by Board Member, Vice Chair Williams, second by Board Member Taylor. Exciting stuff.